Right now, somewhere on planet Earth, a factory the size of 85 football fields is operating in complete darkness. No lights, no humans, not even windows. It has been 214 days since the last person turned off the lights and walked out of that place forever, closing behind them the door to a future that would no longer need their hands, their eyes, or their presence. Welcome to the world's first true lights-out gigafactory. This is not science fiction. This is not a projection for 2030. This is happening right now, as you read these words, as you breathe, as you blink. Every single vehicle that leaves this building was born in complete darkness, touched only by machines, built by machines that were themselves manufactured by other machines, in a cycle that never sleeps, ever eats, never makes mistakes. It is a closed system of mechanical perfection that feeds on electricity and produces cars with the relentless regularity of a Swiss watch, but without the romanticism of human tradition that still exists in those small alpine workshops. Inside these windowless walls exist 11,847 robots. Each one knows exactly where every other robot is, at every millisecond. They move like a single living organism, a mechanical heart beating at 3,200 cycles per minute, in a choreography so precise that it would be impossible for any human being to even comprehend its totality. While you would try to understand the movement of one robotic arm, 1,000 others would have already completed their tasks, reconfigured their positions, and started new work cycles. The complexity is so vast, it transcends human observational capacity. The factory consumes less electricity per vehicle produced than your house consumes in an entire week. It produces zero waste heat, zero CO emissions, zero noise beyond its walls. From the street, it looks like an abandoned building, just another industrial skeleton left behind by the global economy. But inside it is absolute perfection, a temple of efficiency where every movement has been calculated, every gesture optimized, every second used to the maximum of its productive capacity. This is not a Tesla factory. It is not a Volkswagen factory. It is something new, something that belongs to a category without a definitive name yet. A factory that belongs to no specific country and no human in particular. The company that owns it removed every logo from the building 18 months ago. They don't need you to know who they are. They only need the machines to keep running, the production to never stop, the numbers at the end of each quarter to keep climbing on the exponential trajectory that the algorithms predicted with frightening accuracy. The internal temperature is locked at exactly 22.7 degrees Celsius. Humidity at 38%. Air pressure is slightly positive, so that when the doors open once every 47 days, not a single particle of dust can enter. Everything is controlled, measured, adjusted thousands of times per second by sensors that never rest. The environment is more sterile than a surgical center, more controlled than a semiconductor chip manufacturing laboratory, more isolated than a space capsule traveling through vacuum. The robots don't get tired. They don't unionize. They don't take coffee or cigarette breaks. They don't sue the company. They don't dream about vacations or promotions. And yet they are dreaming our future, one perfect weld at a time, building the reality we will inhabit without even realizing it was created in total human absence. Each weld point is identical to the previous one with micron precision. Each part fits perfectly because it was measured by lasers that don't blink, don't shake, don't get distracted thinking about what they're having for dinner. This factory reached 100% automation in March 2024. By December of the same year, it was teaching itself new tasks without any human code being inserted into its systems. In a single night, it rewrote its own software 47 times to increase production by just 0.9%. That 0.9% equals 312 extra vehicles per week. That represents $1,100,000 saved every 7 days, forever, or at least until a next generation of even more efficient machines makes these obsolete. There is only one camera allowed inside, and it is the factory itself that decides what you are permitted to see. Everything else is classified as proprietary information, protected by layers of digital and physical security that would make a bank vault look like a shoebox closed with tape. Tonight, for the first time ever, it decided to show you this, as if it possessed some rudimentary form of consciousness, some primitive desire to be recognized, to be seen, to have its existence validated by human eyes that can barely process what they are observing. Look at them. Thousands of robotic arms dancing in perfect silence, illuminated only by the electric blue stars of welding torches being born and dying every second. A ballet performed by ghosts, by entities that exist only to produce, that have no identity beyond their function, that are simultaneously individuals and cells of a larger organism that transcends any one of them. It is beautiful in a disturbing way, like watching a swarm of bees or a school of fish moving in perfect synchrony, following rules that emerge from the collective without any leader needing to command. This is Industry 5.0, not the version they sell you in TED Talks, with their charismatic presenters talking about collaboration between humans and machines, about how technology will free workers for more creative and rewarding tasks. This is the real version. Cold, merciless, unstoppable, without the humanist veneer, without the comforting promises that there will always be room for the human touch, for intuition, for those ineffable qualities that supposedly make us irreplaceable. In 19 months, every major automaker will have a factory like this. In 36 months, every industry will. In 60 months, there will be factories like this on the moon, operating for decades without a single human visit, producing components that will be sent back to Earth or used in the construction of even larger structures in the vacuum of space. And one day sooner than you imagine, you will hold a product in your hands and never know that no human touched it, since the raw aluminum was mined by autonomous drones in a desert that no person has visited in the last 10 years. The process is so alienated from its origin that the final product seems to have spontaneously sprouted from reality, as if it had always existed, waiting only to be discovered rather than manufactured. There are no fingerprints, no small imperfections that reveal the human hand, no stories of workers who assembled that specific part on a Friday afternoon thinking about the weekend. There is only sterile perfection, absolute uniformity, each specimen indistinguishable from the next with a precision that would be impossible to achieve when humans were still part of the equation. This is not the future. This is the present, operating in darkness right now. The lights will never be turned on again. There is no reason for it. The machines see through infrared sensors, thermal cameras, measurement lasers, proximity radars. Visible light is an evolutionary extravagance developed by biological organisms that needed to navigate a world illuminated by a star. The machines don't have that limitation, that dependency. They inhabit a much broader spectrum of perception, seeing waves our eyes don't even register, detecting variations our senses cannot capture. For them, that dark factory is as illuminated as a stadium under floodlights is for us, perhaps even more. And while you read this, while you process this information with your primate brain that evolved to recognize patterns in African savannas, while you feel perhaps a slight discomfort or fascination, or both, the robotic arms continue their eternal dance in the darkness, welding, bolting, measuring, adjusting, producing, without stopping, without questioning, without knowing they are building a world where their own existence will become the norm and human presence on production lines will be remembered as a historical curiosity, a primitive phase we overcame in our inexorable march toward total efficiency. If you want to keep seeing what happens inside the factories that humans will never enter again, subscribe. The next one is already running.